Hi, everybody. Carol here. I've got some insights from Spirit that I want to share with everyone that I think is valuable. I recently did a session, and Spirit came through and talked about them trying to help the living person and them trying to send them love and energy and healing and insights and inspiration. And so I thought that this was important to share because what was really interesting is the Spirit moved forward to talk about wanting to be able to help the living person. There was a problem with them doing that from the spiritual realm. Now, obviously, they're not in physical body, so that is the first challenge, right? And so when we have a spirit or someone that is on the other side and we want their assistance, we want to feel their love, we want to get messages and connections and insights from them, we have a responsibility as well. And that was a part of what was coming through in this particular session. The problem was the living person was so upset and so stressed out that anything that the spirit was trying to do wasn't getting through. It was kind of hitting this wall, as it were, and it was just being blocked. And that was because the person was under a lot of mental and emotional stress. Physical stress can cause that as well. And so, as well meaning as the spirit was, and perhaps even as much as the living person wanted assistance from the spirit, it wasn't getting through. So, this was kind of the essence of what came through in that particular session. Now, obviously, the next question is okay, well, what can we or that person do about that to allow the people on the spiritual side to help us to really connect? And the important part that came out of this, and the reason I want to share it is because I think it's important for all of us, is that we need to be capable of letting that in. Now, there's a variety of reasons of why we might do that. And as was indicated in this session, having mental and emotional stress, being busy all the time, can be a huge part of that. So our responsibility for allowing our loved ones or anyone in spirit to assist us means we have to set aside a space in our minds, in our hearts, and even physically taking time away to allow this to come into us. So how can we do that? How do we stop and let that kind of come in? Well, first of all, we need to be willing, right? We need to be willing to say, I want your help. I want your assistance. Even if you just send me love or healing or appreciation or gratitude, or you're helping to calm my energy down or calm my mind, that cannot reach us if we are not willing. There is kind of a universal law that's out there that says we have to be willing, we have to ask, we have to invite that in. So first of all, we need to be welcoming to receiving that, to being open to that. That's the first step, asking for it. The other thing then we have to do after that is we have to make space for it. So how do we make space for it? We can't just say, okay, I'm going to let you affect me, or I'm going to let you impact me, right? I'm going to let spirit do something to assist me, but then I kind of go on with life as usual. This is where we have to make space for that. Now, in this particular session, the way that space could be made for this individual was through prayer, because this person, apparently the living person, was someone who was prone to prayer or enjoyed prayer. Because while prayer can be us speaking to God, there is also this part of us that is open, that is allowing, that is making space for, and this came up in the session, we are making space for the love to come in. When we pray, we are asking a source, whatever our source is, we are asking source to help, to guide, to do something, to provide something for us. We are in an open type of atmosphere with our consciousness, with our body, our minds, and our thoughts. And so when we are in prayer, our loved ones can actually help us. Now, I'm not saying that you have to pray, because you might particularly be someone who doesn't have a particular faith or ideology, and that is completely okay. If that's the case, there are other ways to make space, and this is often done through some type of mental discipline or, for example, meditation. Meditation can be as simple as you setting that intention and saying, I'm open to receiving healing from spirit. I'm open to receiving love or insights or guidance. And then your role will be to just sit back, and maybe it's just to relax for 10, 15 minutes. You don't have to make it any great grand gesture. You don't have to try to accomplish something or get upset if your mind wanders. What you're really doing is you're making space and allowing that love, that help, and that assistance to come in from whoever you ask it to come from. Now, if you are looking for messages in an internal manner, and not everyone is wired or has interest in that, then you will kind of want to pay attention to the sensations, the feelings, the thoughts that you're getting. But if not, you can still just be in this very open space, allowing spirit to move through you. Now, your loved ones and spirit, we want to call them higher helpers, right? I call it the spiritual team because we all have one. If we want to allow those individuals to assist us, they can do it in a physical way by bringing us signs and symbols or bringing people into our lives. This can be a little bit harder, though, because there's a lot more manipulation that has to be involved. So while these are other ways that spirit can help and our loved ones can help work with us, it does require more coordination between other people and other events. It's getting us to pay attention. It's getting us to listen. So the goal here is for us to make it as easy for them as possible by creating that space through prayer, through meditation. One way that I love doing, which really works very well for me because we're all wired differently, is I just enjoy journaling. I enjoy writing. Through the writing process, I can allow information and insights, thoughts, and emotions to come through. And not only are they from me, but I open myself up and just start allowing thoughts and information to come through me. And oftentimes I become very surprised about some of the positive insights that I gain. We can be inspired by our loved one. We can have this little idea or this little thought that we thought was ours, but it's really kind of allowing and inviting them to come in. So I hope that this is making sense for all of you. I thought it was really important to talk about how much this spirit wanted to help their loved one here in the physical realm, but they were unable to do so because that person was in such a state of distress that the only way that they could really get through and reach to them was through prayer. Because prayer is, when we are praying to God, we are praying to Source, we are kind of praying to the all that is. We are opening ourselves up to the Source, to love, and to receiving that. And when we take it to this higher level, we're actually allowing love to come in from a variety of positive, loving sources. It doesn't always have to come from God. It can come from our spiritual team. It can come from our loved ones. Because if it's coming from a place of love, if it is coming from a higher source, this prayer, this God that we've moved to, will allow these other things to come in and be of assistance to us. So I hope that this insight had some value for you, and we need to realize that our role is about asking and then making space. Then there's a third part to it, which I didn't talk about and I won't get into, but then we need to realize the answers that we want will come, the information, the healing, the love, when we look for that, when we see that and we acknowledge it. Then we will begin to know that it's there and it can become more powerful and more frequent in our lives. So I hope this had some value. Thanks for being here and allowing me to share some insights with you. Don't forget to subscribe or visit my website for more information. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.